Hello guys, I am back from another video and the talking about deku was the embodiment of hope and despair. So, in the last video deku after finally getting engaged to Todoroki, they gone back to school as many people asked Izuku if they can talk to Okimi because they wanted to be their friend. And also some of his classmates wanted to ask who was that other personality. Izuku explains who Okumi is as Izuku was told by the teacher, specifically Aizawa, and also their other classmates, that they're going to be having a internship very soon. So, after he leaves, Midnight comes in and tells everybody to pick their internships, but before that, they're going to be picking their hero names. Izuku's hero name is Diablos Angelos, which is Latin for just demon and, angel, basically. Because, hope, despair, angels, demons, they're basically hand in play. So, after Izuku does that, Izuku picks his internship as he's interning in the internship or the hero agency of Endeavor because, Todoroki. So, when they get there, it's pretty normal for a while until the villains arrived as they terrorize the entire, Shibuya's district. So, after defeating them all, they met a brand new villain, being Toga and Dobby, including a mysterious woman by the name of Masquerade, which is also working with the League of Villains. After a bit of fighting and also cracking her, or at least breaking her mask slash helmet, it turns out her identity was Momo Yaoyorozu. She basically explained why she decided to join the League of Villains, saying that it's all Todoroki's fault that, Izuku is now marrying her. And she wants revenge, and also wants to take Izuku back, no matter what. So, that's basically what happened last time. As she also explains that she's no longer the heir of, that company, being her father's company. So, yeah, that's basically what happened last time. So, let's talk about what happens next. So, after Izuku goes back home, Izuku sees all of his mates, including his mother. His mother comes to him as she looks absolutely distraught. As she says this, Are you okay, Izuku? Are you okay? Is there anything wrong? Did you. As Izuku just says this. No, wait. Please stop. I'm okay, okay? As she says this. Are you sure? After I saw the news of, well, her, I thought you might be hurt. As Izuku just says this. Don't worry, I'm not, hurt or anything. As she says this. Are you sure, Izuku? As Izuku just says this. I'm sure. As she says this. Anyway, so, how's... As he says this. Well, I'm okay, Mom. Ugh, can't believe I still have to say that. As she says this. Huh. So you're still okay, Okami. As he says this. Yeah, whatever. So, Izuku says this. Hey mom, I'm kinda sleepy. Can we talk later? As she says this. Oh, okay. So, Izuku goes back to his room as he flops down onto the bed. As he decides to go to sleep. So, the next day comes as it's the... So, the next day comes as Izuku wakes up as he starts preparing for going to school again. So, after Izuku packs all of his things, he starts going to UA, which everybody in the school seems a bit down. I guess they already saw the news announcement or the TV, because if you don't know what happened last episode, it turns out that Momo is now a villain. So I'm guessing that's why people are basically like, you know, sad and depressed. So after Izuku goes back to class, many of his classmates seem sadder, including Todoroki, as Todoroki says this. So that's what her true motives are. Can't believe I never saw that. As Izuku just says this, "Hey, Todoroki, are you okay?" As she says this, "Oh, don't worry about me. I'm just so stunned. After seeing her true, like, personality, I was just stunned, dumbfounded even." As Izuku just says this, "Don't worry, Todoroki. I mean, she is still, well, a uncaring person, but we can defeat her." As she says this, "You're right. I mean, we're still heroes in training, but if we have, well, enough teamwork, we can probably defeat her." As Bako said this, "Yeah, I guess we can defeat her. After all, my quirk is absolutely better than hers." As everybody said this, "Yeah." As the teacher arrives, being All Might, as All Might explains that they're gonna be going to a training camp very, very soon. Apparently, it's because of the recent, well, internship. Because concerning to Momo Yaoyorozu, because of her quirk specifically, because of her creation quirk, it makes her a really high level threat. Especially now because she's a villain. Because she has now full reign on her power, and probably All for One gave her a second quirk. So, after being told of this, they started getting ready for the, wait for a second, training camp. So, while everybody is getting ready, Izuku decides to go to the mall with his mother. So, when they get to the mall, so many people started hounding him, saying, "What the heck was that power? And what happened to your relationship with Momo Yaoyorozu?" As Izuku just tells the paparazzi to get away from him. As Izuku sees the rest of his classmates together. As Izuku just says this, "Oh, thank God." As Izuku just goes to them, as they say this, "Izuku, what are you doing here?" As Izuku just says this, "I came here just to get some camping supplies with my mother." As they say this, wait, your mother, as they see the famous, well, celebrity named, wait for a second again, Inko Midoriya. As many of his classmates started saying, "Oh my God, it's Inko Midoriya, the famous celebrity." As they ask her many questions, including some of the girls. As she says this, "Alright, alright, alright, everybody, can you please calm down? Anyway, we're just here to just get some supplies for Izuku's, you know, wait for a second again, training camp trip." So, as everybody decides to, well, join Izuku, they decide to go around and find some supplies. Specifically, some, like, snacks, some tents, some clothes, even some, what do you call it? Some utensils and many other things. So, after they were done doing that, they decided to go to a cafeteria. So, while they were talking, as many people started watching Izuku and his mother, Izuku sees a familiar face. This familiar face was Shigaraki. Izuku recognizes him and thought that he was, you know, dead. Because you know what happened last time. So, Izuku was kind of worried about that. But Izuku decides to ignore it. As after they were done, they started leaving. So, while they were going back to the limousine, Izuku gets, well, tackled by Shigaraki. as Shigaraki starts bringing him to a different area while his mother sees it and calls the police. So, when Izuku got captured by Shigaraki, Shigaraki brings him to a little alleyway as he says this. So, you're that kid! As he says this. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing here? And second of all, where are your nomus or whatever? As he says this. I don't have any nomus because I was replaced! As Izuku just says this. Wait, replaced? As he says this. Yes, I was replaced by that stupid girl. That damn. As Izuku just says this. Whoa, 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 whoa. You were replaced. As he says this. Correct? As Izuku just says this. By who? As he says this. The brand new leader of the League of Villains is Momo Yayurozu. As Izuku just says this. Excuse me. What? As he says this. Yeah. And if I kill you, I can maybe go back to All for One again. As Izuku is about to get all 5 fingers up into his face, please don't put that out of context, Izuku kicks him right back and starts creating a sword made out of crystal. As the police arrive, as they see Izuku getting ready to fight him, as the police tackle him, but one of them gets attacked by his, disintegration quirk and gets one of his arms cut off or disintegrated. So, Izuku starts charging towards him and tackles him to the ground, as Izuku decides to do something a little bit more drastic. So, Izuku starts creating crystal handcuffs as Izuku bounds them to the ground where his hands are basically in, so causing him to basically just be in this state, as Izuku just says this. Alright officers, you can handle him for now, as they basically get both of his arms and puts them in quirk cancelling handcuffs, as he started screaming at him, saying, this is not over. I will get you and get my place back in the League of Villains, as he was brought to a police car, as Izuku just says this. Damn, I didn't know that person was actually this, desperate. As his other self, Okimi, while seeing him in like a broken, shattered mirror, he literally looks like he's laughing, as he's this. Okimi, why are you laughing? As he says this. Damn, I didn't know that he was that desperate, and he even got defeated by... As Izuku just says this. Either way, we should just go back to our mother. As he says this. Okay, I can stop laughing. Oh my god. So, when they go back to the limousine, Izuku sees his mother worried as she starts looking around Izuku's body. Please don't put that out of context. As she says this. Oh, thank god you're okay. As Izuku just says this. Yeah, I'm okay. It doesn't mean that you have to, look around. As she says this. Alright, just go back into the car and we should just be leaving now. So, after they gone back home, they start preparing for the... Wait for a second again. For the training camp, which is exciting for Izuku for several reasons. One is for him to start training a little bit so he can get ready to fight his so-called used to be classmate, being Momo Yayurozu. So, after a while now, maybe 1 week, it's finally time for the UA, not sports festival, I meant, summer camp, not really summer camp, more like, training camp, yeah. So, after they were brought there, by riding on a bus, they were on a cliffside. Izuku thought it was weird as Okami comes and was talking to him near a puddle as he says this. Hey, Izuku. As Izuku just says this. What is it, Okami? As he says this. I think I sense something. As Izuku just says this. Sense what? As he says this. Some heroes. And I heard that they're planning to use their powers to basically make us fall down into a ravine. Thanks to another hero. As Izuku just says this. Right. Izuku goes and just leans down on or just goes down on one foot, one leg, as he gets ready for the impact. As four figures arrive, as one of them puts their hand down onto the floor, as it causes a large ravine to appear. As everybody is falling down, Izuku lets Okami out, as he starts creating something terrifying. So, Okami learned this after wait for a second. Learned this after the internship. So, I meant his shoulder pad thing over here, the one that looks like a skull, starts transforming as his misty, almost dark, shadowy arm transforms into a large dragon with these claw nails are basically just claws. As when everybody looks, they see the large dragon. As Izuku or Okami says this, I can't believe it actually worked. As one of his classmates, being Bako, said this, alright, what the heck was that? As Izuku or Okami says this, don't worry, we should be safe here now. As Ida says this, oh thank God. If we, wait for a sec. If you weren't here, we would all be pancakes. As Izuku just says this, or Okami, why thank you or whatever. Anyway, we should start moving. As Izuku or Okami starts commanding this gigantic shadow dragon to bring them to the actual training camp. After a bit of a few obstacles from the earth dragons and the earth monsters, they were brought to the the training camp proper. As all of the heroes that decided to do that said this. So you're the famous, as Izuku just says this. Sorry, not Izuku. I'm his other personality. You can call me Okami. I guess you can call me a despair form or something like that, but I just prefer to just be called Okami. As they say this. Oh, I see. As he says this. Either way, I'm kinda bored. Ah, I'm gonna be sleeping. As he says this. Specifically Izuku. Alright, just go back into my mind and just let me train. As he says this. Fine. So, Izuku gets back control as he starts training with the rest of his classmates. It was a normal training day, I guess, as it's finally dinner time, which everybody started eating their dinner, which was delicious, as they decided to get some shut-eye. So, Izuku, unfortunately, his mother told the teacher to let Izuku and Todoroki sleep in the same tent. So, both of them are basically facing the opposite way. One of them is looking near the tent's wall. As Izuku starts talking, "Hey Todoroki," as Todoroki says this. What is it, Izuku? As Izuku just says this. So, what did you feel when, as she says this? When I heard the words that my so-called best friend told me that she was mad at me for loving you. My heart sank as Izuku just says this. Yeah, as she says this. Hey Izuku, as Izuku just says this. What is it, Todoroki? As she says this. Why did you decide to, well, you know, let me marry you? As Izuku just says this. Well, it was not my idea. As she says this. Wait, what? As Izuku just says this. Yeah, it was an idea by my other personality, also known as Okimi. As she says this. Really? So, Okimi is, as Izuku just says this. Yeah, Okimi is in love with you, but I love you as a friend, but as she says this. So, your other personality like loves me? Like in a as Izuku just says this. Yes, he does love you. As she says this. Oh, can I talk to him then? As Izuku just says this. Sure. So, after Okami takes control, he says this. Um, Hello, Todoroki. Um, as she says this. Um, Okami, is it true? You love me? As he says this. Absolutely. I love everything about you. You're beautiful. You're kind. You're basically like what I wanted to be. As she says this. What do you mean? As he dumps all of his baggage. Like all of his baggage, including the way that he was treated back when he was, well, just sealed, never to be seen. But when he actually met Todoroki, aka you, I, well, this emotion, it's, I don't know what to call it, but I think it might be love. When I saw you, it felt, it felt. As she says this, you don't really need to tell me anymore. As he says this, wait, really? As she says this, yeah, I know what you're feeling. As he says this, uh, uh, as she starts getting closer towards the, like, Okami. As she says this, no matter what you are, if it's you or Izuku, I love you, no matter what you are. As Okami says this. Oh, I see. As she says this. Anyway, would you want me to kiss you? As Okami says this. Sure. They lean closer and closer, getting ready to pucker up. As they hear the sound of a twig snapping, as Izuku just says this. Or Okami. What the heck was that sound? As Todoroki says this. I don't know, but we should just ignore. As Izuku opens the tent door, or the tent like zipper, and sees all of his classmates. As one of his classmates, being Kaminari, says this. Oh god dang it! As, wait for a second. As Bako said this. I told ya! Now, give me the money. As, one of his other classmates, being Mina, says this. I told you. As Jiro says this. Okay, I'll give you the money. As Izuku says this. Or Okami. What are you doing here? As Bakugo said this. Well, we made a bet if both of you can kiss. Well, we would get money. But if you don't kiss, I would get the money. Including, well, Mina over there. As one of his classmates being Kaminari says this. It's all thanks to you for just making it, well, you know, as Izuku just says this. Can you get out of this area right now and go back to bed? As Bako said this. Izuku, is that you? As Izuku just says this. No, it's me, Okami. And I would rather if all of you go back to fucking bed. As everybody started running away and start going back to bed, Okami is completely mad. As the teachers also arrive, as they say this. What the heck was that commotion? As Izuku just says this. Or Okami. Just leave me alone. I just want to get some sleep. So, after the teachers leave, or the pro heroes, Izuku goes back to the tent. As Todoroki kind of laughs. As Izuku or Okami says this. What is it, Todoroki? As she kisses Izuku right on the cheek. As she says this. Alright, good night, I guess. So, she goes to bed. Izuku or Okami is completely stunned and starts like becoming like red as tomato. Like the same red as his like hero costume, basically. As Okami decides to go back to bed and starts like blushing all night. So yeah, that's basically what happened this episode, and I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.